Greetings and salutations, this is Imperator Vespasian bringing you our Black Templars sword brethren. Of all the Black Templars, these are probably the most recognisable. There aren't that many Black Templar sort of things available. There's a few characters and this box, and that's basically it. Most Black Templar Space Marines are going to be converted from normal Space Marines using the Black Templar conversion kit, or you can also just paint them black. So, you know, it's up to you what you do with them. So these are sword brethren. These come straight out of the box. So all you have to do is assemble them and paint them. There's nothing really good. There's nothing much to do with them. They're all already more or less put together. And there they are. So, what are sword brethren, or who are sword brethren, and sometimes when are sword brethren? Sword brethren are technically the first squad of the first company, which is the household company. I've already done a video with an overview of the army. The household company is the household of the Grand Marshal, and the first company of that, the first unit of that company is the sword brethren. So technically they're in the first company. However, they hardly ever fight in the first company. They are spread out between all the other companies, and they tend to be sent where they're needed. So any company can have sword brethren in it, but all sword brethren are from the first company. And what I said about how they play with the codex, they are officially codex Space Marines, but in reality it's way more complex than that. So typically the sword brethren are the best Marines, the ones who show that they're the best, can volunteer to join the sword brethren, and they can come from any part of the chapter. Any of the 5 companies can join the sword brethren. However, they have to be really good. So these are the best troops the chapter has to offer. And then once they're in the first company, they are then nominated to go back to whichever company they came from to act as sword brethren. But technically, on paper, they are always in the first company. As with all Black Templars, the main difference they have, other than combat skills and stuff like that, is they get +1 strength. All Black Templars have +1 strength. So they're going to do more damage than normal Marines would, because these guys are only equipped with bolter and chainsword. However, with that +1 strength, that means the chainsword is now +1 attack and damage of 5, strength of 5 instead of strength of 4. So you're going to do more damage to things like Space Marines and things like that. Although you're not going to be able to modify the save roll, so that's kind of a downer. They come standardly equipped with bolt pistol and chainsword, but they can also carry black sword. This is a black sword here. This is only used by the Black Templars and the Imperial Fists. The black sword is, I would assume, just a normal power sword, but it has, let's see, it has +2 damage, -3 save, so it will hack through most Space Marines, and does D3 damage. So it's way more dangerous than the average sword, and it gets +1 attack, and it gets reroll to wound. So black swords are pretty impressive. Only really for taking on infantry, but with a strength 7 in 8th edition, you could be damaging light vehicle. Technically, you could be damaging tanks with that. So yeah, that's pretty good. The lightning claws themselves, they're strength 5 because they're the strength of the user. -3 AP and 3 damage. So your officer with the lightning claws is on average going to do more damage than your troops who are armed with the black sword, but that's on paper. So it's really up to you how you decide to deploy your unit. I decided to go for the officer carrying the twin blades because that means it gets a +1 attack. So I could have made made a different guy the officer, but I decided to do this guy as the officer because he has the twin blades and he gets the extra attack. So that's added to the attack on top, so he gets 5 attacks in total with his lightning claws. How 8th edition works. That's pretty impressive. So that's 5 strength 5 attacks with -3 save and 3 damage each. So that against an Imperial Guard unit with good dice rolls, you're getting a plus a reroll to wound. Don't forget that. You can do 15 damage. That's lightning claws doing 15 damage is pretty impressive. That's pretty good. That's good. They also carry frag grenades and crack grenades, and the officer carries a melter bomb, which is it's a breaching charge really. But you can also take a tank down with it. Although in 8th edition, you probably with 15 attacks, 15 damage, you're probably best trying to take on a tank with it really, rolling 6s. They have Furious Charge as a standard ability, which pluses 1 to strength. That means that not only are they strength 5 as they come, because they're Black Templars and all Black Templars have +1 to strength, when charging they have a strength of 6. So if you do the math with that, that puts your Black Sword up to strength of 8. So it's what's strength of 8? Melter gun. A melter gun strength 8, isn't it? So you're looking at anti-tank abilities here now. Black Sword will cut through tanks. That's good. That's really good. Other special things that Black Templars do, which I think actually apply to all Black Templars, it's not just the Sword Brethren, but upholding the honour of the Emperor. Remember, Black Templars believe the Emperor is a god. They're about the only Space Marine Legion who thinks that the Emperor is a god, with a couple of exceptions, Marines Errant, stuff like that. Any of the Crusading chapters tend to be a bit religious, probably because they don't land on planets much and get out much. They cannot be pinned, but cannot use cover. So what that means is if you are in cover, you cannot use your cover save, but you can never be pinned. So that's pretty useful if you think about it. If you're going up against rapid fire troops who are more like the Tepinia, then rapid fire things that are more like the Tepinia, then you would usually use your cover save, but you don't get your cover save, but you can't be pinned anyway, so it doesn't make any difference. Plus your Sword Brethren, you've got a 3+ save, your Space Marines, you're pretty good. You're going to lose maybe 2 figures if that, and then you're going to be able to carry out your attacks. Obviously this squad's only got 5 men. Normally I'd have 10 men in the squad. I'm just showing you because these are all the same figure. So you're going to have a 10-man squad. You can't use cover, but you can't be pinned. So that's pretty good. No pity, no remorse, no fear is your next special skill. And that basically means that if you're in combat, you are fearless, which means you don't take your leadership test in combat. So if you lose combat, doesn't matter. It's not going to make any difference to you. So you don't take leadership tests, you effectively fight to the death, which is pretty Templar, isn't it? Then you get Black Templar Tactics, which is reroll failed to charge. Now, with a leadership of 9, you're probably going to charge. So it's useful having it, but it's probably not going to really affect you. However, if you are, how can I put this? You have to roll your leadership test to target something that is not the closest target. So this is part of the rule. If you have 2 units of orcs and one unit's a little bit further away and there's another unit that's closer, one's normal orc boys, the other one's heavy squad with flamers. and you want to target the heavy squad because they've got flamers, they're going to do more damage to you. Statistically, they're going to do more damage to you than Orc Boys. You have to roll your leadership in order to be able to fire at something other than the Orc Boys, because the Orc Boys are closer. And the Black Templars will always want to target the closest enemy. So you will have to try and... Well, it's not going to affect you too much because, again, leadership 9. But you're going to have to roll your leadership to make sure you can fire at something other than what you're firing at. Same with charging. If you want to charge the same unit, if you want to carry out a charge and use your +1 attack and all the other stuff, you get all the bonuses you get for charging because you're Black Templars, your +1 strength and all that sort of stuff. You're going to have to roll leadership in order to charge at the target you want to charge at. Otherwise, you will charge the closest unit. And that could get annoying if, say, you've got a Hive Tyrant as the closest target, but you want to take out 15 Termagants. You want to take out the Termagants, but you fail your leadership roll, so you charge the Tyrant. And therefore the 15 Termagants are going to come in behind you during the combat phase, and you're going to be in trouble. So you're going to lose your +1 your +1 strength because you lose your charge bonus, and the Termagant is probably going to do more damage to you than the Hive Tyrant is. But it's entirely situationally how you use it, and given that you will be aware of these rules when you play the army, you will be able to position your troops knowing that this is a problem. That's something that we actually found. Not thinking about the rules, we ended up not being able to control the troops properly because I wanted to shoot at something, which I wanted to shoot at some demons because I knew the demons were going to attack me, and they get to attack first because they were Slanesh demons. So I wanted to take the demons down, but I couldn't because I failed my leadership test, so I had to charge the Space Marines. The Space Marines attack first because they do, but I still managed to take them down because I have so many attacks, and I only lost one figure. But then the Demonettes hit me, and the Demonette Cavalry hit me, and I got slaughtered. So that only one instance has it actually affected a game we played, but it can happen, so you need to be aware of these rules when you play them. Yeah, that's basically the overview of the squad. I'm going to have a go at converting some Warhammer figures. I've got some Warhammer Knights, a load of Warhammer Knights, and I'm going to have a go at converting them into Sword Brethren. Because I've got a few interesting ideas, and I'll show you a video on that if I get around to actually doing it. I have a lot of spare Black Templar kit, like chain swords with chains on them and all that sort of stuff. So I'm gonna have a go at converting. So have a look out for that video. I hope I've covered everything. Oh, by the way, they're extremely expensive. They're an elite choice, so I should have said this at the beginning, sorry. They're an elite choice, so keep that in mind. But they're very, very expensive point-wise. And per 5 figures, you're looking at the cost of a tank, a decent tank. Yeah, it's going to put you back fielding Sword Brethren. You might be best. I mean, your standard Black Templars are half the price of Sword Brethren. So keep that in mind when you're building your army. But I'd say they're worth it because I found them brilliant. I just love them in combat. They're just great. That's it. That's the end of the video. Please leave any comments that you have, and if I've got anything confused over that, did I miss anything? No, I didn't. Please leave any comments in the comment section. Leave a like if you like the video. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And if you think you're already subscribed, just make sure you are, because YouTube's strange. And click the bell as well, because apparently if you don't click the bell, you don't get my content up on your feed, which I've just discovered. I've realised one of the YouTubers I regularly follow does gaming stuff. I haven't got any of his videos in my feed, and so I clicked the bell and now I do. So apparently that's how it works. So thank you very much for watching. This has been Imperator Vespasian. If you're still here at this point, you are awesome. And goodbye.